I'm gonna start my speech in three, two, one. The problem with opening debate is that opening debate talks about CGS in a way too idealistic manner, in which CGS is supposed to fix everything from punishment to death run at the end of the day, right? Closing government are going to take a different stance in which we are going to talk CGS in way of punishment and also retribution. Several problems that we need to point out in both opening government and opening opposition. Right, opening government first of all don't really have any urgency to which how they're going to explain why corruption is such a big problem in which they are going to need this kind of extreme measure to actually tackle. But also opening government have a half stance in terms of who they are going to punish. They're going to only punish the big corruptor and not the small corruptor, and I'm going to explain to you later why this is a problem, right? But opening opposition cannot also win this debate based on two things, right? First, the entire cases is very negative case, right? They do not have any contribution in this debate talking about, for example, how they're going to solve the problem or how, their solution of rehabilitation is the only solution in this case, right? Which led me to my second point on why opening opposition also problematic is that their mechanization of rehabilitation is never explained to the point where we can get a significant benefit from the rehabilitation program at the end of the day, right? Opening debate could not win this debate. So what I'm going to bring in my speech is two things, right? First, I'm going to talk about justification, in which I'm going to also talk about urgency. And second, let's talk about public trust and why that's very important in this debate, right? But before moving on to any substantive, I'm going to clarify certain thing. I'm going to give you certain framework, right? First, we think that what we are going to do is that we are going to uh, differently from opening government, we don't necessarily care how much corruption this particular individual have done, right? We're going to strike them all, right? We don't think that number are going to correlate with the value of that money. For example, 3 million in central government might sound very minuscule, but for rural area, 3 million is very important. That's why we think that it has no meaning at number has no meaning in this discussion, right? But also when we're talking about all corruption, we're going to need to stop them early because this has become the habit of many developing countries. For example, that corruption starts small and become big. This is where the problem came. Second, we are also going to take away all the corrupted wealth plus all of their own wealth, right? This is where the punishment actually come. Third, we are going to redistribute this kind of money to increase welfare, build infrastructure, and give education. And also, we are not going to actually give this individual jail time because we think that the punishment is already enough. First point, justification, right? Three layer. One, let's talk about urgency. We say that currently in current status quo there is so many corruption happening, right, from small to big, and there is no significant punishment for them. For example, a lot of politicians can actually do corruption, get jailed, and then get out and then keep improving their career, or so on and so forth, right? We think that this is very problematic. And also our biggest contribution is that we're going to give you the urgency of why it's actually harmful for citizen, and this is a very significant matter that we need to actually solve with an extreme solution like impoverishment, right? We say that the pragmatical harm of this kind of corruption is, for example, let's take a case of bansos in within pandemic, right? People actually need money, right? They need money to buy their basic necessity, for example, food, clothing, and fixing their house, for example. And most of it are going to be gone because it's taken by the corruptor, right? This proves to you on two things, right? One, that the harm is actually tangible enough and it's big enough for us to take extreme measure, and also secondly on how there is a justification to which they also violate the right of other people, therefore we can take away their right? My second layer is about when we talk about punishment, right? When we talk about punishment, we need to talk about how we are going to take away their ability to do that exact crime. Let's take an example. For example, if someone rape other people, right, you're going to give them jail time. Why? Because inherently you need to actually take their ability to run around and meet people and have a chance to actually rape them, right? Therefore, when you rape someone, you get jail time. Let's take that concept and put it into corruption, right? We say that corruption is very much based on position and wealth. For example, a palm oil business will not bribe some random housewife. They're going to find other businessmen who have wealth or other political figure who have position to actually benefit them when doing this kind of corruption. Therefore, the moment we take away this ability for them to actually maintain this position or maintain their wealth, this kind of impoverishment is actually justified because it's the right type of punishment for this kind of corrupter. Third layer, right? When we're talking about third party casualties, two responses, right? One, we think that it's okay because most of the time, this kind of the wife of the corrupter, the children, is actually a collaborator or even a way for corrupter to actually money launder their corrupted wealth, right? For example, they are going to buy car or houses with their wife name or their children name, so it cannot be tracked, right? We think that this is very much an okay situation in which they're going to also get harm. But let's engage to opening opposition and, for example, say that they do not have nothing to do with they have nothing to do with it, right? We think that when you're talking about criminal justice system or pure justice, justice doesn't necessarily are going to bat an eye. The moment you actually gain benefit, you should actually give away that benefit at the end of the day. Therefore, it's justified, right? So on that point, I already proved you three things, right? One, it is justified on the basis of one, on how there is an urgency. Second, on how secondly on how it actually harming a lot of people, and third of all, third party casualties is actually okay. But let's move on to my second point about public trust, right? We said that currently public trust three layer, right? First, let's talk about currently on how status quo in the status quo there is a decreasing public trust within society, right? Because corruption is very prevalent on how people don't necessarily trust the government anymore because all of their money is being taken away by those rich individuals, right? And we say that the moment this happen, government cannot function correctly. Therefore, this is a big issue that we need to take care of, right? Which led me to my second point on why current status quo mechanism like opening opposition about rehabilitation and jail time cannot actually solve the problem. Because why? Jail time don't necessarily give the tangible benefit that people can actually feel or understand. Therefore, people are not going to get satisfied with whatever happened to this corruptor. Therefore, public trust will never increase. Comparatively, under our side of the house, impoverishment work because the moment we impoverish someone, we take away 300 million or 3 trillion of their money, and we push that back to society. People will actually feel a tangible benefit of the increasement of their welfare system at the end of the day. Therefore, this tangible war harm will be understandable by people. Therefore, people will actually trust the government more. Therefore, I'm very proud to propose. Thank you.